389 Gaming.
Hey guys, it's Guy389 here, and welcome back. I apologize for the huge gap since the last time I posted a video. I've been doing stuff. I got myself a new apartment. I've been working. And did I mention that I got myself a new apartment? Have you seen it? It's awesome. Well, of course you haven't seen it. I haven't shown it to you guys yet. I might actually make a video about that, but unfortunately I do not have a camcorder, so I can't show you guys how messy my apartment is, so that you guys will feel better about not cleaning your rooms. But, you know, whatever. I think I've come up with a solution for that, and I will be showing it to you in a future video. So stay tuned for that. In other news, Fire Emblem for the 3DS, Fire Emblem Awakening, is out now in the US. So if you're like me and you live in Europe, it sucks to be you. And it sucks to be me, because I have to wait literally a couple more months for it. But, you know, whatever, it's cool. I've already kind of... what's it called? I've kind of decided that I'm going to have it anyways, so... I'm just going to try to avoid all media, all information about the game whatsoever, so that I'll be as surprised as possible. I already know a lot about the game because I paid a lot of attention during the Japanese release, but I'll try to stay away from it so that I can be as surprised as possible when the game comes out. So do not post spoilers in my in the comment section. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, I'm going to be talking a little bit more in this video than I usually do, aside from at the end where there's actual storyline going on. So if you guys want to catch the story and the dialogue, just replay the video and mute the audio, because you can read the text, even though the audio is off. Contrary to popular belief, you can still read without sound. So in this particular episode, I don't think a lot is going to happen, and that's the reason I'm going to talk a little bit more than usual. So let's talk a little bit about Fire Emblem Awakening, which has now come out. If you guys are in the US, you have already gotten the game, and you're already playing it, and you're already enjoying it, possibly a little bit more than you should be. But if you're not, then let me fill you in a little bit on what the game is like. Because I don't actually have to play it to tell you guys the features of the game, because I already have read up on them. Sorry, just moved my headset a little bit. I'm not sure if that came through in the audio or not, but moving the headset sometimes causes the audio to mess up a little bit. So... Alright, there we go. So in Fire Emblem Awakening, the major differences that you're going to see from this game is that... well, where should I start with this? There are a number of them. One is the change class system. Similar to in this game, when you promote a unit, I haven't gotten to unit promotions yet, so I'm just assuming that you know what a unit promotion is while talking about it. When you promote a unit in Fire Emblem 8, the one that I'm playing now, you get 2 alternatives for each unit class. The same thing applies in Fire Emblem Awakening. You have 2 alternatives when promoting. However, you have an alternate way of promoting your units, which is reclassing. You can change them to a completely different class that has nothing to do with the previous class. Or sort of, yeah, generally has nothing to do with it. And the characters in Fire Emblem Awakening all have their own unique sets of classes that they can choose from. I think it's about 3 each. I'm not sure if some have different options available to them. The main character does. The main character, what's it called? Not the main character, but your character, your unit, which is another new feature, the ability to create your own custom unit. He starts off as a strategist, but you can, through various means, affect how his stats will grow, and you can reclass him into any class in the game that is not a special class. The game also adds in marriage and, well, of course, the normal support conversation, but also marriage, pairing up, as they call it, having two characters fall in love with one another and produce offspring. I guess that is the least awkward way of saying shack up and get her pregnant. So basically what that means is you can also have children characters, who I'm not going to spoil how you get, but you can acquire the children characters of the various characters that you shack up. And by doing that, you can acquire characters that have a new set of classes available to them. They have the class that they start with, which is predetermined, aside from a few characters who get special classes when they're married with a specific unit. For instance, if your strategist character marries the Mamucat, is that what they're called? Mamucate? The dragon girl, basically. Then he will, or the son, the daughter character will be born as a Mamucate, which means that they will start as a different class than they normally would, which would be a strategist, if it was anyone else that doesn't have a unique class. They're also bringing back a sort of Laguez-like character. It's this bunny girl thing who has a bunny son thing. But they're basically the same as the Mamucute, but except that they're faster, I believe, instead of stronger. I don't get it. I looked at the raw stats and I didn't think they were that good. But, you know, that goes down to personal preferences. You may decide that you don't want to use any of the dragon kin at all, so just to make the game harder for yourself. In which case, well, I guess the bunny girl doesn't seem that bad then. Aside from that, what else are there of new features to talk about? Well, I guess you guys probably already know about all of the new features. Most of my information comes from the Japanese release, so I don't actually have any way of confirming it myself. And preferably, if I'm wrong about something, I would like you guys to correct me, but so far I don't think I've said anything that is completely out of line. And if I did, then I probably noticed it when I was watching through the video again, and have probably posted it in the description below. As I usually post all of my bloopers in the description so that you guys know that they happened, and so that you guys know that I know that they happened. However, feel free to still post. Justin, you're such an idiot! It's not like that, it's like this. Go ahead, do that. That sounds like fun. Actually, any comments at all would be greatly appreciated, because I usually don't get a lot of responses on my videos at all. And contrary to popular belief, it does actually help a lot if you guys post a comment, because then I know that you guys are actually watching the video, for one thing. And secondly, it also lets me know what you guys want to see, what you guys think is right and wrong about my videos, and it helps me improve. So all in all, it's all good. So, alright, I guess I can talk about the new units that were introduced here for those of you who are not Fire Emblem savvy. Oh, and there we get a critical hit. Can talk about that as well. So Culm is a thief. Now, thieves have the unique ability of using the lockpick. I believe in Awakening they've completely done away with the lockpick, so you just open chests automatically. Or not automatically, but you can open chests with a thief character. You don't need to acquire anything to do that. Or you don't have to have a lockpick to do that. They can also steal items directly out of other players' inventories, which is useful. Sorry, made a sound effect there. Oh, getting attacked by the other thief. One thing you'll notice is that the player characters' thieves are usually considerably better than the enemy thieves. Enemy thieves usually are terrible. And the reason for that is that enemy thieves can go over to another chest and pillage the items in it, thus preventing you from getting them. Now, when they do capture a chest, what's called, one of the items will still be available, but if they have opened more than one chest, then you have at least lost one item. And if they get away with the item that they stole, well, then it sucks to be you, because you're not getting that item back. And that's kind of the whole general premise of it. Finishing off with the Iron Lance. So basically, you want to be wary of enemy thieves. If you see enemy thieves, you want to try and kill them as quickly as possible. If you see enemy thieves appear on the map, you want to get to chests as quickly as possible, because they're going to go and unlock all of your chests, and they're going to steal all of the items. Sometimes they can be used to your advantage. If you know which way they're going to be escaping, you can actually let them collect an item for you, and then just cut them off as they're leaving, so you don't have to waste any time capturing or getting a hold of the item. However, keep in mind that you have to leave an opening or a space for the thief to get through, otherwise he'll turn around and run the other way. And the thief will do that even if you're very far away and there's no way that he could know that you're there. But, you know, that's kind of how this game works in general. You can see everyone on the entire map, even though technically you shouldn't be able to. So, moving on from there, we've also acquired an archer. Now, archers use bows. I guess that's pointing out the obvious. But the thing about bows is that they have a ranged attack, but no melee attack. Which means if you move up close to an archer and attack, they can't retaliate. And because you cannot, well, I guess I haven't told you this, but you cannot switch items when you're on defense. So even if that archer character happens to be one of those horse-riding archer characters and has a sword as a secondary, they can't switch over to it. They're stuck with the bow. So if you attack them in close range while they have their bow out, then they can't retaliate. And likewise, the archer can attack melee enemies from a distance, and the melee enemies can't retaliate, which gives the archer a little bit of an advantage. However, the archer's strongest point, his bow, is particularly useful because it can deal double damage, I believe? Double damage against air units. So if you run into a Falcon Knight, or a Pegasus Knight, or a Wyvern Knight, etc., etc., one of those flying units that we're going to be seeing more of soon. So far you've only seen the Pegasus Knight. But if you run into an air unit, using an archer can make that fight trivial. Also, snipers are not particularly good in this game. For reference, I'm probably going to end up turning Nemi, the archer, into a... what are they called? Horseman, I believe it's called? Yeah, horseman. Alright, now we're getting close to the end of the battle. And when the when the actual ending occurs. I'm just going to sort of fade out here and let you guys let you guys watch the ending dialogue, because it's actually story relevant, unlike most of the other dialogue that goes on in this game, which is more character relevant than story relevant. And like I said, this game is very story heavy and very character heavy, and Fire Emblem Awakening seems to be following the same trend, and is possibly even more character driven than previous games, as there are a lot of personal connections between characters, not exclusive to the children characters and the marriage mechanics and stuff like that, but also in terms of interpersonal relations between the various characters. There appears to be a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversations to be had, a lot of general fun to be had as well. And the DLC also offers unique conversations and unique insight into the various characters. So Fire Emblem Awakening is going to be very, very character-driven, as well as, you know, being story-driven, of course. Oh, and that's another unique thing. DLC and lots of it. If the Japanese release is anything to go by, there is going to be a lot of DLC. A lot of free DLC and a lot of not free DLC. And the not free DLC generally seems to be the best out of it. However, the free DLC generally involves basically characters from the previous games, or representations of characters from the previous games, popping up as enemy groups or enemy bosses with a small army of ally units. And you can sort of walk into that fray and fight with them. And they add basically an extra layer of challenge to the game, so you can continue fighting even if you're at the end of the game, but you don't want to finish off the last boss and finish the game. You just want to fool around and level up your character and stuff like that. Then you can take on these various villains. I also assume that there are ways to make money, though I'm not sure. I think particularly in like hard difficulty, you can't really make enough money to justify continuing to play the game, rather than simply going to the end boss and finishing it, because you don't make enough money battling the wandering enemies to, because you actually have to pay money to buy an item to summon them in. They appear on their own during the game, but once they're gone, you have to use a specific item to make them reappear. At least that's how I understood it. But then again, you also have other ways of meeting enemy parties, which is you can set up, I believe, your own party of units. That if another player has their 3DS on and walks by you while your 3DS is on and Fire Emblem is in both of these games, then they will transfer data to each other, and your party will then become available in their game. Alternately, you can also set things up so that you can reacquire units from previous playthroughs. So you can take your My unit from one playthrough, save him, and then acquire him in a later playthrough. Which is interesting, actually. So in theory, you could have a party that consists of at least 2 My units, one from each of your playthroughs. However, obviously you would have to save them at a low level, or save them off at a low level, otherwise there's no point in hiring them, because it supposedly costs an absurd amount to hire them if they're at high levels. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm trying to maximize my XP. That's why I'm using a long time killing this boss. I could have finished him off really quickly, but I decided to instead try to max out as much experience as possible. And Colm gets the win, and as you can see, I did not make it all the way up as far as I was originally at. So I believe he started at 94 XP and he made it up to 84. That means I did a good job of accurately measuring how much XP he would gain, and didn't end up wasting any. And there we have the crybaby. Nemi's actually not that bad for a crybaby. She's an R8 archer. And if you upgrade her into a horseman, horsewoman, horse thing, then she can also wield a sword, which makes her a little bit more useful, because now she has the two weakest weapons in the game instead of just the bow. And by weakest, what I mean is the axe does more damage than the sword, usually. So if you're going for max damage, you want to go for an axe. However, you can also use blades, which do the same damage as axes, so swords can actually turn out alright, but they're expensive if you want to use blades. I usually go and equip my general characters with standard iron blades, because they do enough damage to take out lesser units, but they are also light and fast, and because generals have lots of constitution, they don't get weighed down by them. Alright, now we got the bracelet back, and we've caught the thief that stole it. So we have been successful, and many lives were lost. Oh, and apparently someone has just logged on to Skype. This is only the fourth time. This is only my fourth take with the audio in this, but that is going to happen again, just so you guys know. But on my previous take, on my third take, I actually tried to close that Skype pop-up, and did not realize the futility of that until I remembered that I am currently watching a video, and that happened like days ago. It didn't happen right now. Skype is off right now. I was smart enough to turn it off while I was not recording the video, but instead recording the audio. And actually, I recorded this video like weeks ago. That's part of the problem here, is that it's been such a long time since I recorded this. Alright, I'm gonna be quiet now so you guys can hear the plot. So I'll see you guys in the next few episodes then. Bye.